I wanted to take some time before I did a BK Nets cap on the last two games. Needed to take a deep breath, because if I did them right after the games, I probably would have said many, many bad things. I'm trying to be a little, PG-13 this year, rather than TV, M-A-L, as in language. Trouble, man. Trouble. I understand it's 6 games. I understand that the Miami Heat, when they first got organized, were 9-9. I understand all that. However, there are many alarming similarities to last year with this Nets club, and I'm going to point them out. And it all starts with Mr. D. Will. He's your leader. He's the guy that you maxed out. He's the guy that you brought in here and tried to build a franchise around. Don't blame you for doing it, Billy King. Don't blame you for signing him to the big money, because what you saw in Utah was, at worst, the 3rd best point guard in the game. A stud. Strong. Could post up. Could knock down threes. Could dribble drive. Crossover dribble. Finish at the rim. Good defender. Okay? That's what you saw in Utah. Well, we saw about a half season of that here in /New Jersey / Brooklyn. That half season was last year. Now, back to Washington. You got an 11-point lead with 4 to go. You got a 9-point lead with 3 to go. You got a 2-point lead with the basketball and 20 seconds to go. And you look at the numbers that D. Will put up. He had 6 turnovers in the game. Should have been 7. Wall stole 1 ball from him. The game was tied at 70 seconds to go. Wall stole the ball from him, and Wall stepped out of bounds. Would have been the 7th turnover, and again in a key spot, 4th quarter spot. Again, he shoots like shit in that game. Kevin Garnett has been a problem. We'll get to him, but let's go back to last year's Brooklyn teams, because obviously Garnett wasn't here. So we got D. Will pulling his horrific shooting in Washington, 6 turnovers, and should have been the major goat with his turnover that John Wall stepped out of bounds on. Would have been his 7th turnover. The game was tied. Would have been a classic D. Will 4th quarter, where he just doesn't get it done. He does something bad in the 4th quarter. Hint, hint. Preview coming, Indiana. And we got Brook Shields. Brook Shields, the first ballot, first quarter Hall of Famer. He dominates the first half, as he always does. He has 18 points. And Mr. Softy finishes up with 23 on the day. And what does he do against the Wizards? He misses a layup. He actually fumbles a ball out of bounds. And he just does not demand the basketball in the 4th quarter, as he should. Now, is it partially the Nets' fault, coaching staff? We debate this. All last year was the same issue. Why does Brook not get more touches in the 4th? I don't know. I don't know who's more to blame, the coaching staff or him. But you know what, man? I'm putting it on him. I'm putting on a guy that's 7 foot tall, 200 and whatever, 890. I don't know how big, I don't know how much weight he is, but he looks like he put on 30 pounds of muscle, and he gets 5 rebounds a game. He's in the area with all the other guards and small forwards in the league when it comes to rebounding. Brook Shields. Now, Garnett has been absolutely brutal, and I'm starting to feel as if, listen, he's a great acquisition. We needed his toughness, but he is not going to be a significant player, it looks like, after 6 games. I know, crazy to say this, but I don't think he's one of the significant players for this team. You want to start him or whatever, okay, but to me, I need to see more Reggie Evans, man. Now, I know I'm in the minority. I know most Net fans, they get mad at Reggie. I love Reggie Evans. Reggie Evans, when he's on the court, good things happen. Of course, some bad things happen. He tries to go back up sometimes with his left hand. He misses. I get all that. But more good than bad happens when he's on the floor. I know it's crazy to say this, but, you know, in his minutes, Evans just think positive things happen. Now, so far, Garnett has been absolutely horrific. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to be an interior presence at all, which is understandable. He's 90 years old. And his outside shot is erratic. I mean, the guy's shooting close to 25% for the season, if not worse. Not a factor. Of course, against the Wizards, Pierce was bad. You know, give him a break because he was sick. I don't understand the substitution where he sits out an entire fourth quarter and there he is in overtime. Strange. But, you know, I'm concerned about Jason Kidd. I mean, I'm going to post a picture on the page of a timeout where you're going to see Jason Kidd on the outside of the huddle as like he's a sub, like looking in. I mean, was this simply a head coach hire by name and, you know, the guy's just not going to do anything? The guy doesn't do much during a game. I see Randy Whitman up and down, yelling, screaming, moving his hands, trying to argue with refs and, you know, getting into his player's face. And I see Jason Kidd, like, you know, great leader when he was a player. I don't know if he's going to be a great leader as a coach, and that's a problem. Because what do you do? How do you get rid of the guy you just hung his friggin' number in the rafters? You know, you got to be slow to make a move to get rid of him. And I'm not saying you get rid of him after 6 games. I understand, you know, the ship can be righted. But right now, boy, this team has very eerie similarities to last year's squad. Look at the Indiana game, and we beat Indiana 3 times last year, which is incredible because we were such a soft team last year, and Indiana was tough. I don't know how we beat them 3 times. But, you know, there's no shame in losing to a team that's 9-8-0, whatever the hell they are now. I mean, they're good. They're better, way better than us. Plus, they got more continuity. They've been together. Better players. Younger players. They've got some crafty vets, too. But, you know, they're good. And they have a superstar, which, you know, we're supposed to have a superstar in D. Will, but he is not in Paul George's category. Not close. Because even when D. Will plays well, as we discussed, Indiana, look what he does when the game is in crunch time. Notorious D. Will fade fourth quarter. And usually, it's not a shot. It's usually a dumb decision that, you know, leaders wouldn't make. Like, how many mental mistakes do you see Derek Jeter make in his career as a Yankee? How many base running mistakes does he make? How many poor throws does he make? You know, of course he makes errors, but look at the amount of mental miscues that this D. Will has given us in his short resume here with us. There it is in the fourth quarter. You know, he commits a ridiculous foul on the three-point shooter in a critical spot in the game. And how about the turnover? How about down 3 with a minute to go, and he dribbles and he gets poked away. I think George poked him away, the star. This is what he does. Now, his numbers are good, 17 points, 10 assists, but this is all that I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing a D. Will who either shoots poorly all game or maybe has a good game shooting and then shits the bed in the fourth quarter with a dumb mistake, a mental miscue. And, of course, Softy, you know, Hibbard's a man, Softy. Hibbard is a man. He manned you. You missed the layup. How about the layup he missed? He missed the layup down 3. A 7-footer missing layups. And then how about another critical spot? He misses the tap. There's a tap to be a mandatory win late in the game. I think it's David West who's like 5 inches shorter than him, and he loses the tap easily. And again I say, what's different? What's different right now, other than we added Pierce, Garnett, Karolinko, Terry? I'm going to tell you, I want to see more of Allen Anderson. I want to see more of Sean Livingston. Give me less Garnett right now. Give me less Garnett. Garnett, I like him. I mean, obviously his intangibles are great, but he's really not a very good player right now at this stage of his career. I'm not saying he's done, but from what I've seen so far, we have guys that can give a little more energy, a little more athleticism. He's not a great defender anymore. I mean, guys can eat him alive basically on the other end. Does he give you everything he got? Is he a noise talker? I love it. I love that he's cursing at the other team. I love all that stuff. But, you're old, man. You're old. I got Reggie Evans that didn't play a minute. That sitting on a bench for an entire game. I mean, Reggie Evans got 20 rebounds 5 times last year in a game. He's got to play. I mean, and Karolinko was not even active. So, listen, I like what Plumlee did. Plumlee did some nice things. But you can't be DNP and Reggie Evans. You can't do it. Reggie has to be a part of the equation. He is an energy guy. He is a guy that provides spark. He does things. He finds the basketball. It gets to his hands. Yeah, he's got to back it out more. We all know that. But Reggie Evans needs to play. Now, you're going west. I don't think there's a chance in hell that you beat that Clipper team. But I could be wrong. You outplayed them a lot for most of the game last year out there. But don't even dare lose these next 2 road games. And I'm telling you, they ain't going to be easy. I mean, the way I'm seeing this thing is the Nets are going to they're going to struggle to play against teams that have some quickness and some youth. And both Sacramento and Phoenix, they're both not good teams. Of course we should beat them, but they're young. They've got athleticism, and that worries me. 2-4, man. I'm 2. The Celtics. We're looking up at the Celtics, who started 0-4. We're looking up at them. Thank God the Knicks are awful. The only saving grace so far this season is the Knicks are worse than us. But I'm going to tell you, I'm worried. I'm worried that this is a lot like last year with just new pieces. The same movie, with new characters. Let's see if hopefully I'm wrong. Obviously you got to come out and win the next 2 games, get to 500. If you beat the Clippers in LA, you come back here 5-4, then there's a little hop in our step. Then we're like, all right, we straighten this shit out. But I'm not counting on it. I'm uptight because of the usual suspects, and that's D. Will and Brook, non-existent in the 4th quarter. Leave me alone. Hopefully, no need to do a show in the next 2 games. But if they lose, either one of them, we're going back to TV. MAL. Later.